Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take a moment and think about the people who have walked out of your life, those unexpected goodbyes, those doors that slammed shut, those relationships that ended when you least expected it. At first, it felt like loss, like rejection, like the world had turned its back on you. But what if I told you that every single one of those exits was actually a sign, a guide, a way of clearing the path for the real purpose that's waiting for you? Tonight we're going to talk about why letting go isn't failure, why endings are blessings in disguise, and how the universe, and life itself, is always preparing you for the level you were born to reach. When people walk out of your life, it is natural to take it personally. You start asking yourself questions you were never meant to carry. Was I not enough? Did I fail them? Did I do something wrong? Why do people keep leaving me? But the truth is far bigger than your doubt and deeper than the pain you're feeling. There are moments in your journey where God steps in and removes certain people, not because you're unworthy, not because you lost value, but because He is protecting you from things you cannot see. What feels like rejection is often the first layer of divine protection, and the moment you begin to understand this, your whole perspective on loss begins to shift. You see, sometimes you pray for peace, but you hold on to people who create storms. You ask for clarity, but you stay connected to people who confuse your spirit. You seek purpose, but you surround yourself with those who drain your energy, slow your growth, and block your vision. God sees what you don't. God hears conversations you weren't invited to. God watches intentions that never match the smiles, and when the time is right, He removes those who would eventually hurt you, betray you, or delay the path you were born to walk. You might call it heartbreak. God calls it rescue. We often try to keep people in our lives out of habit, history, or fear of being alone. We ignore the inner signs, the red flags, the discomfort, the moments that feel off but we never address. We convince ourselves that loyalty means holding on, even when holding on is destroying us from the inside. But loyalty is sacred. It should never be given to someone who plays with your peace or treats your heart like it's disposable. Some people are not assignments, they're distractions. Some relationships are not blessings, they're lessons. And some losses are not losses, they're exits arranged by God Himself. Even the people you love deeply, the ones you poured into, the ones you tried to understand, the ones you carried longer than you should have, are sometimes the very people God needs to remove for your soul to breathe again. It hurts because your heart doesn't yet understand what your spirit already knows, that their chapter in your story has closed, and keeping them any longer would only slow your calling. Not everyone who walks with you now is meant to walk with you into the next season. Some people were only designed to be a temporary part of your journey, not a permanent part of your destiny. God will sometimes break your heart to save your life. He'll reveal someone's true colors through actions you can't ignore. He'll let certain moments unfold so you can finally see the truth without the filters you once used to protect them. When someone shows you who they are, that is not the enemy exposing them. It's God lifting the veil so you can stop investing in a place that will never give you the love, loyalty, or growth you deserve. Divine protection does not always come wrapped in comfort. Sometimes it arrives disguised as a painful ending that doesn't make sense until later. Think about the times you begged for a relationship to work out, only to realize years later that staying there would have broken your spirit. Think about the friendships you fought to keep, only to discover that those same people were holding back your potential and envying the very light God placed inside you. Think about the people you trusted who turned out to be the ones God was trying to shield you from. Every painful goodbye makes more sense when you look back with healed eyes. God wasn't punishing you, He was preparing you. You might feel lonely for a season, but loneliness is not the enemy. Sometimes God isolates you to elevate you. He separates you so He can speak to you, strengthen you, and show you who you are without the noise and opinions of those who were never meant to shape your future. You cannot step into your true purpose while carrying the weight of people who don't believe in you, support you, or grow with you. Protection also means prevention. God will remove people before they break you in ways you can't recover from. He will distance you from connections that would damage your spirit, derail your dreams, or destroy your identity. You might think you lost something valuable, but what you really lost was a barrier between you and your blessing. People think the hardest part of life is losing someone, but the truth is, the hardest part is trusting that the loss was meant to happen. Trusting that God knows what He's doing. Trusting that removing them was the best thing for your future. It takes courage to let go. It takes faith to understand that you don't need closures, explanations, or apologies from everyone who exits. When God closes a door, He doesn't ask for your permission. He does what is necessary for your growth, even when you still want what's familiar. Familiar does not always mean safe. Familiar does not always mean healthy. Familiar does not always mean aligned with your destiny, and God will remove anyone who threatens the purpose He placed inside you long before you were born. Every removal creates room for better connections, healthier relationships, real support, real love, real loyalty. Room for peace, clarity, strength, and growth. God is not taking people from you to hurt you. He is removing those who are blocking you from becoming who you're meant to be. He is clearing your path so your purpose can breathe. There comes a point in every person's life when you start feeling a shift inside of you. You can't always explain it, but you feel yourself growing out of old circles, old habits, old conversations, and even old relationships that once felt like home. It's not because you suddenly changed into someone unrecognizable. It's because your spirit is rising, and elevation always creates distance from what was holding you back. Separation is not accidental, it is purposeful. When God starts separating you from certain people, places, and energies, it's because your next level requires a different version of you, one that cannot exist around people who refuse to grow with you. Elevation and expansion demand space. You cannot climb higher if your life is crowded with people who are comfortable staying low. You cannot embrace the future while carrying the weight of those who choose stagnation. Some people love you, but they don't grow with you. Some people support you, but they don't understand your vision. Some people stand beside you, but they can't walk where you're going. You may care about them deeply, but caring is not enough to keep you aligned with your purpose. Growth requires alignment, not attachment. There are seasons in your life when God will allow tension to rise in relationships that used to feel peaceful. Suddenly, conversations don't flow the same way. The energy feels off. You start noticing things you used to ignore. You become more sensitive to what drains you. You recognize patterns that don't match your new mindset. It's not that those people became worse. It's that you became more aware. Awareness is the first sign of elevation, and awareness always reveals who can stay and who can't. The separation begins long before the actual distance. It begins inside you. When you start craving more peace, more purpose, more discipline, more clarity, you naturally detach from what disrupts it. You stop entertaining drama, ego battles, fake loyalty, and relationships built on convenience instead of connection. The people who want to stay the same will treat your growth like a threat. They'll call you distant, different, or even difficult, but they're only reacting to the distance created by your elevation. They were comfortable with the version of you that needed them, not the version of you that is growing beyond them. And this is where God steps in. When you hesitate to let go, God creates situations that make holding on uncomfortable. He will disturb the connection. He will expose true intentions. He will reveal the difference between who claps for you and who competes with you, who supports your growth and who secretly resents it, who stands with you and who only stays because it benefits them. It may feel painful, but it is divine alignment. God sees conversations behind closed doors. He sees jealousy behind smiles. He sees limits behind certain relationships. And when those limitations threaten your purpose, He removes them. You cannot elevate while surrounded by people tied to the ground. A rocket cannot launch if it's still tied to ropes. A plant cannot grow if it stays in a pot that has no space for its roots. You cannot reach your full potential while remaining in environments that stunt your growth. That is why God separates before He elevates. Separation creates the space your spirit needs to breathe, stretch, evolve, and align with the future He is preparing for you. And sometimes the separation doesn't look dramatic. It can be quiet, subtle, gentle. You just drift. You talk less. You share less. You lose interest in old habits. You feel distant from old connections. You stop forcing things that don't match your energy anymore. The version of you that tolerated certain things can no longer survive where God is taking you. Your sensitivity increases, your intuition sharpens, your priorities shift. What once felt normal now feels heavy. What once felt fun now feels empty. What once felt necessary now feels like a distraction. That is elevation happening inside you. People often assume separation is punishment or rejection, but it is rarely that. It is preparation. You cannot receive what's meant for you if your life is filled with what is not. The next version of you requires more discipline, more focus, more inner peace, and more self-respect. God clears out what competes with your calling. He removes distractions that would slow your progress. He creates distance between you and the noise that blinds your vision. He disconnects you from energy that interferes with your purpose. The people who belong to your next level will match your growth. They will inspire you, support you, challenge you, and stand with you. They will not be intimidated by your strength or threatened by your ambition. They will not drain your spirit or break your peace. They will not demand that you shrink just so they can feel comfortable. The people God aligns you with in your next season will understand your journey without you having to shrink or explain yourself. But before they enter your life, God must first remove what was never meant to stay. Separation is divine pruning. Just like a gardener removes dead branches to help a tree grow tall and strong, God removes connections that block your sunlight. He removes relationships that keep you rooted in places you were meant to outgrow. He removes attachments that threaten your elevation. He removes anything that is not aligned with your higher purpose. You might feel the loss today, but one day you will look back and realize that the distance you once feared became the doorway to everything you prayed for. There comes a point in your growth where you start realizing that not everyone around you is built for the journey you're stepping into. Some people were only meant to walk with you through the early chapters of your life, not the chapters where you rise, evolve, or step into the purpose God designed for you. Your next level requires a different kind of discipline, focus, mindset, and environment, and not everyone you care about is equipped to handle that shift. It's not about being better than them, it's about being aligned with where you're headed. And alignment is one of the biggest tests life will ever give you. You might love someone deeply, but love alone cannot carry dead weight. You might have history with someone, but history alone cannot guide your future. You might have loyalty for someone, but loyalty alone cannot survive in environments where your growth threatens their comfort. There are people who fit perfectly into the earlier versions of yourself, the version who tolerated certain behaviors, who overlooked certain traits, who accepted chaos, who ignored red flags, who stayed small to make others feel comfortable. But as you evolve, that older version of you dies, and the people who were only aligned with that version begin to naturally fall away. Your next level requires people who can handle truth, not excuses. People who can celebrate your success without silently competing. People who can support your growth without feeling insecure. People who can grow alongside you, not drag you backwards. The reason many relationships fall apart during seasons of growth is because growth exposes misalignment. When you start elevating, not everyone claps, not everyone is happy for you, not everyone wants to see you become stronger, wiser, or more grounded. Some people liked you better when you doubted yourself, when you needed their validation, when you stayed at a level they felt comfortable with. And sometimes the people you think should be cheering for you are the ones who turn cold, distant, or resentful. It's not because you did something wrong, it's because your elevation reminds them of their stagnation. When you grow, you reflect what they're not doing, and that reflection can make some people uncomfortable. Your progress triggers their insecurity. Your discipline reminds them of their excuses. Your vision highlights their lack of direction. And instead of facing themselves, they pull away from you or try to pull you back to where they are. There are people who genuinely care about you, but they don't have the capacity to walk the path you're stepping into. They don't have the mindset, the hunger, the resilience, the spiritual awareness. They don't have the courage to chase purpose instead of comfort. They don't have the discipline to separate from distractions. They don't have the strength to break their generational cycles, and because they lack these things, they cannot support you in a season where those qualities are required. Your next level is sacred. It demands a higher level of emotional maturity, spiritual grounding, mental clarity, and personal responsibility. You cannot surround yourself with people who operate from fear while you operate from faith. You cannot continue inviting chaos while you're trying to build purpose. You cannot keep people close who do not believe in your vision. You cannot carry people who refuse to grow but expect you to stay the same. If God allowed everyone to go with you, their energy would contaminate your elevation. They would bring doubt into your direction, fear into your decisions, and confusion into your calling. Some people sabotage your purpose without even knowing it. They talk you out of opportunities because they're afraid of them. They discourage you from taking risks because they never take any. They judge your dreams because they gave up on theirs. They limit your thinking because their mind has never expanded beyond survival mode. They convince you to settle because they settled. And if you keep them close, you begin absorbing their limitations as your truth. There is a reason God separates you from certain people when He is preparing you for your purpose. Everyone cannot handle your blessing. Everyone cannot understand your calling. Everyone cannot carry the weight of what you're destined to build. You need people who are aligned with your values, your vision, and your evolution. You need people who fuel your growth, not drain it. You need people who push you toward purpose, not distract you from it. Your purpose requires consistency. It requires discipline. It requires a mindset of expansion, not resistance. And while many people say they want to grow, very few are willing to do what growth demands. They want the outcome, but not the process. They want the blessing, but not the sacrifice. They want the elevation, but not the separation. And because of this, they cannot go where you are going. It is painful to realize that people you thought were permanent were only seasonal. It hurts to accept that some relationships expire long before your heart is ready. But purpose is not something you negotiate. You cannot choose your destiny and keep everyone at the same time. You cannot walk into your future while holding the hands of people who belong to your past. You cannot carry people who refuse to grow but expect you to dim your light. The moment you accept that not everyone can come with you, life begins to feel lighter. You stop forcing connections. You stop begging for support. You stop apologizing for your growth. You stop shrinking your potential. You stop explaining your vision to people who don't want to understand it. You start moving with intention. You start surrounding yourself with people who match your energy, your effort, and your purpose. The people who are meant for your next level will not feel intimidated by your calling. They will see your growth as a blessing, not a threat. They will elevate with you. They will stretch with you. They will celebrate your progress without jealousy. They will walk beside you without expecting you to slow down. But those people cannot enter your life until the ones who don't align with your purpose are removed. Sometimes you don't realize how heavy a person's presence was until they're gone, and you can finally breathe again. That's the truth nobody tells you when God removes someone from your life. You're so focused on the loss, the silence, the empty space they leave behind, that you don't even notice how much mental noise they used to create, how much doubt they used to plant, how much weight they put on your shoulders without ever lifting any of it off. When God removes these people, it's rarely soft or gentle. It's usually sudden, shocking, uncomfortable, and it breaks your rhythm for a moment. But that break is exactly where clarity starts. That break is where your mind, your energy, and your direction open up in a way they couldn't when that person was still taking up space. There are people who don't support you but still want access to you. There are people who don't love you but still want control over you. There are people who don't believe in your purpose but still want to sit close enough to influence it. And as long as you let them stay, you'll always fight battles you were never meant to fight. You'll always carry emotions that don't belong to you. You'll always feel tired for reasons you can't explain because their energy drains you in ways you don't even see. So when God removes someone, the first thing he clears is the confusion. Suddenly you start recognizing the ways they held you back. Suddenly you feel lighter. Suddenly you hear your own voice again instead of theirs echoing in your decisions. That internal shift is the first sign that this removal wasn't punishment, it was protection. People think protection only comes in the form of blessings, but sometimes protection arrives looking like separation. You pray for peace and God removes the person who created the chaos. You pray for growth and God removes the person who kept you small. You pray for purpose and God removes the person who distracted you from it. You pray for clarity and God removes the person who blurred your vision. At first, you question it because the human heart clings to the familiar even when the familiar is toxic. But as time passes, you start to see what was happening behind the scenes. You realize how often God heard conversations you never heard. You realize how many times he saw intentions you never saw. You realize how many moments he protected you from things that were being planned against you. That's why the door closes so firmly. That's why it doesn't reopen no matter how much you pull at it, because the chapter wasn't safe for you, because the connection wasn't pure, because the person wasn't aligned with where you're going. When God takes people away, he is clearing your environment so your purpose can finally grow without interference. Think of your life like soil. Purpose is a seed planted deep inside you, but seeds can't grow in contaminated soil. They can't grow in dirt full of weeds, parasites, and roots from old plants that are already dying. Some people are weeds in your garden. They look harmless at first, but over time they wrap around your dreams, your confidence, your vision, and slowly choke the life out of it. They don't want to grow, and they don't want you to grow either. As long as they stay in your space, your purpose stays buried under their influence. So God does the pruning that you can't. He cuts, he uproots, he clears the soil even when you would have held on. And once the soil is clear, your purpose finally has room to expand. You might think losing someone creates emptiness, but it actually creates space, and space is powerful. Space is where new ideas are born. Spaces where healing happens, spaces where new connections come in, spaces where your gifts breathe again. When your phone storage is full, you can't download anything new. Life works the same way. When your emotional storage is full with people who drain you, disrespect you, or distract you, you can't receive anything better. You can't hear what God is trying to tell you. You can't feel the pull of your real purpose. You can't step into the next season because you're still dragging weight from the last one. So the removal isn't loss, it's preparation. Sometimes God removes people because your purpose requires a version of you they would never allow you to be. Maybe they liked you insecure because it made them feel powerful. Maybe they liked you dependent because it made them feel needed. Maybe they liked you quiet because your voice could expose their truth. Maybe they liked you limited because your growth would highlight their stagnation. These are the people God doesn't let follow you into the next chapter. They weren't meant to witness the higher level you're stepping into. They weren't built to walk with you on the path you're taking. Their mindset wasn't ready for your evolution. Their spirit wasn't aligned with your mission. Their presence would have slowed your pace, dimmed your light, or pushed you off your path entirely. So God removes them to protect the version of you that is becoming. And when they leave, something inside you unlocks. Your mind sharpens, your voice strengthens, your ambition returns, your peace deepens. You start taking yourself more seriously. You start trusting your journey more confidently. You start seeing your future more clearly. You start realizing that the door God closed was never meant to lead where you were trying to go. The purpose He built for you is bigger than what you lost, and the path He cleared for you is better than what you were holding on to. Life has a way of shutting doors in your face, and most people see it as a rejection, a failure, or a personal insult. But what if those closed doors are not punishments, but signposts? What if every time something or someone exits your life, it is actually pushing you toward exactly where you need to be? The hardest part is that you don't always see it in the moment. Your mind wants explanations, your heart wants comfort, and your spirit already knows the truth. The detours, the dead ends, the departures, and the disappointments are all redirecting you to your destiny. Closed doors force movement, they force action, they force you to stop standing in one place, waiting, hoping, or trying to make something work that was never meant to work. There's a lesson in every door that doesn't open. You are being prepared for bigger opportunities, for better relationships, for higher alignments. If every door stayed open, you would never have to grow. You would never be tested. You would never have to challenge yourself to evolve. God doesn't leave you wandering in emptiness. He closes doors to guide you toward the corridors of purpose that are waiting for you. Sometimes it hurts like hell. Sometimes you scream at the sky, asking why, shaking your fists at the unfairness of it all. But the truth is, what you want to hold on to isn't always what's best for you. A closed door is a checkpoint, a moment where you are forced to assess your life, your connections, your path. It's an opportunity to ask yourself the hard questions: who belongs in my life? Who is aligned with my purpose? Who lifts me, inspires me, and challenges me to be better? The answers are rarely easy, but they are necessary. Closed doors teach patience. They teach faith. They teach trust in the timing of your life. It's not about the rejection, it's about the redirection. Some of the most powerful people, the people who change the game in their own lives, will tell you that their biggest breakthroughs came after something or someone exited their life. The absence creates space, not just in your schedule, but in your mindset, your energy, and your vision. You can't step into a bigger life while still trying to fit into a space that's too small for your dreams. Every closed door is a message from the universe, a whisper from God. You're meant for more. Step forward. Don't look back. Don't settle. Don't compromise. Move. People cling to what they know because the unknown feels risky, but nothing that is meant for you will ever be blocked from your path. And nothing that isn't meant for you will ever stay open forever. If you keep pushing against doors that won't budge, you waste energy, you delay your growth, you deny yourself the blessing waiting on the other side of that redirection. Sometimes the closed doors come in the form of people leaving, jobs ending, opportunities failing, or dreams not manifesting in the way you expected. At first, it feels like life is punishing you, like the universe is conspiring against you, but it's actually doing the exact opposite. It's clearing the road of obstacles. It's removing the traffic that slows you down. It's forcing you to walk a path that's more aligned with your potential, more in tune with your purpose, and more connected to the people, places, and energy that belong in your story. You have to learn not to resist the closures. The struggle comes from resistance. The frustration comes from attachment. The anxiety comes from thinking that what is gone was the only way forward. The truth is, your destiny cannot be delayed by what has ended. It can only be delayed by your unwillingness to move. Closed doors are not walls. They are gateways. They are the push you need to break free from your comfort zone, to step into your calling, and to embrace the version of your life you've always been meant to live. Closed doors also teach discernment. They teach you the value of knowing who and what is aligned with your vision. Sometimes you look back and wish things had stayed open, but if they had, you wouldn't have met the right people, experienced the necessary lessons, or gained the clarity you needed to move forward. The doors that close often reveal the doors that are meant to open. And when those new doors appear, you enter them with wisdom, maturity, and an understanding that nothing was wasted, nothing was random, and nothing that left could have carried you to the level you were destined for. Your journey demands that you walk past the closed doors with confidence, not bitterness. It demands that you trust the process, even when you cannot see it. It demands that you believe in the unseen, in the future that is bigger than the present disappointment. Life is always pushing you toward what you were made to become. Closed doors are part of that push. They are your redirection toward growth, alignment, and purpose. It's essential to remember that some doors close not because you're unworthy, but because what's coming next requires your full focus, your full strength, and your full heart. You cannot walk through your destiny carrying attachments to what no longer fits. Every closure is an invitation to step into the life, the people, and the opportunities that are waiting, ready to match your level of ambition, discipline, and vision. Closed doors are proof that life is intentional. They are proof that your journey is being curated, that your evolution is being guided. They are proof that you are moving towards something greater, something more aligned, something designed to honor your gifts and your purpose. You may not understand it now, but when you look back years from now, you will see that every closed door was a necessary turn on the path to exactly where you were supposed to be. If you want, I can now write keynote 6 in the same style, so we can complete all 6 points before creating the full speech. Divine timing is a concept that most people understand with their heads, but rarely feel with their hearts. You see, life has a rhythm, a pulse, a current that carries you toward your purpose, but it doesn't always move at the pace you want it to. When God removes people, closes doors, or shifts circumstances, it can feel unfair, confusing, or even cruel. You might ask why the people you love or rely on are gone, why opportunities haven't manifested yet, or why the path seems harder than you imagined. But what you don't see is that timing is never off. Every removal, every ending, every loss is perfectly orchestrated to align you with your destiny at the precise moment you are ready to receive it. Trusting divine timing is one of the hardest things you will ever learn. It requires patience, faith, and a surrender that goes against the way most people are wired. Human nature pushes us to control, to force, to manipulate situations to our liking. We want immediate results, quick fixes, and instant validation. But the universe doesn't operate on impatience or convenience. It operates on alignment. It operates on readiness. It operates on preparation. Every person removed from your life, every opportunity delayed, and every door closed is not a punishment or an oversight. It is a necessary part of preparing you for what is meant to be yours. The first step in trusting timing is letting go of resistance. Resistance is the mental and emotional friction that comes from clinging to the familiar, from holding on to relationships, outcomes, or situations that no longer serve you. Resistance is the fight that makes endings painful and delays blessings. When you fight divine timing, you fight yourself. You fight the current that is carrying you toward growth, success, and purpose. The more you push against the flow, the slower you move, the more you release, the faster the doors begin to open. Letting go is not passive, it's active faith. It's a choice to believe that what leaves your life was never meant to stay, and what is meant for you will never be withheld. It's understanding that the pain of loss is temporary, but the alignment it creates is permanent. There's power in trusting that God knows the exact moment to introduce the right people, the right opportunities, and the right lessons. There's power in believing that the things you are ready for will find you, and that the things you are not ready for are being withheld for your protection. Divine timing is not random, it is precise, intentional, and always in your favor, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment. When God removes people from your life, He is often creating space for the right people to enter at the right time. If you rush, if you cling, if you force the process, you risk filling that space with the wrong energy, the wrong influence, or the wrong relationships. But when you release with trust, the universe has room to move. The right doors open effortlessly, the right opportunities align naturally, and the right people appear without struggle or compromise. Timing is preparation, not punishment. Every delay is a rehearsal, every absence is a refinement, and every ending is a calibration for what's next. The beauty of divine timing is that it teaches patience without stagnation. You are not meant to wait idly, you are meant to prepare. While people are leaving, while doors are closed, and while opportunities seem delayed, your job is to sharpen your craft, strengthen your mind, and elevate your spirit, your energy, your focus, and your actions during this waiting period determine how quickly and how fully you step into what has been reserved for you. Divine timing is not a passive handover, it's a co-creation. You must show up, work on yourself, and align with your purpose so that when the moment arrives, you are ready to claim it fully. Trusting divine timing also requires forgiveness of yourself and of others. People leave, betray, or fail you not because you were unworthy, but because their season in your life has ended. Holding resentment or trying to control the timing of their return only keeps you trapped in a cycle that delays your growth. Letting go of anger, disappointment, and expectation allows the current to flow freely. It allows you to move without the weight of what no longer serves you. Timing works best when your spirit is unburdened, your heart is open, and your focus is clear. One of the most challenging aspects of divine timing is patience under uncertainty. You may not know when doors will open, when blessings will manifest, or when people will return. You may face periods of loneliness, doubt, or frustration, but these periods are essential. They teach resilience, faith, and reliance on your inner strength. They allow you to build character and confidence. They prepare you for a future that is larger than anything you could have imagined while clinging to the past. Trust is the bridge between uncertainty and fulfillment. Divine timing is also a lesson in perspective. Years from now, you will look back on the people who left, the opportunities that never materialized, and the doors that closed, and you will see how necessary every single one of them was. You will see that the delays, the losses, and the separations were not failures. They were the architecture of your purpose. They were the scaffolding that supported the building of the life you were meant to lead. Timing was not random, it was meticulous. Every shift, every removal, every ending was part of the plan, even if the plan was invisible to you at the time. The key is to stay present and stay active in your own evolution. Focus on your growth, your mindset, your discipline, and your purpose. The faster you align with what you can control, your effort, your actions, and your intentions, the faster the universe aligns the rest. When you trust timing, you stop chasing, you stop forcing, and you stop worrying about the how or when. You simply show up, do the work, and let life unfold. Divine timing is a masterclass in trust, patience, and alignment. It's a reminder that what is meant for you will never miss you, and what misses you was never meant to stay. The people who leave, the doors that close, and the opportunities that are delayed are not setbacks. They are setups. Every removal, every pause, every redirection is a strategic step toward the life, the people, and the purpose that are yours to claim. When you embrace timing instead of resisting it, your journey becomes not just a series of events, but a symphony of purpose, precision, and divine orchestration if you want. I can now combine all 6 key points into a full 6-0-0-0 word Nipsey style motivational speech on when God takes people out of your life. He's clearing the path for your real purpose, keeping the deep, raw, powerful tone throughout. Do you want me to do that next? As we walk this journey, it's important to remember that every person who leaves, every door that closes, and every challenge that tests you is not a setback. it's a setup. Life has a way of clearing the path for what you were truly meant to do, even when it hurts, even when it confuses you, and even when it doesn't make sense in the moment. Trust that the losses, the separations, and the endings are not punishments. They are protection, preparation, and divine guidance. Your purpose is too important to be slowed down by people who don't belong in your next chapter, by energy that doesn't align with your vision, or by attachments that block your growth. Keep your focus on your mission, your dreams, and the life that's waiting for you on the other side of the struggle. Remember, the people who are meant to stay will match your growth. The doors that open will be in perfect timing. Your blessings are on the way, and your journey is unfolding exactly as it should. Keep your heart strong, your mind clear, and your spirit unshaken. Walk boldly in your purpose, even when the path feels lonely, even when the loss feels heavy, because the universe is clearing the space for something greater than you can imagine. Your next level is waiting, and you are ready for it. Good luck to each of you as you step into your next season. May your journey be filled with clarity, strength, and the courage to release what no longer serves you. Trust the timing, trust the process, and trust yourself. Thank you for allowing me to share this message today. Carry it with you, live it boldly, and let it fuel the greatness that's already inside you.